You may have heard about abandoned bank accounts. Like there's like money sitting somewhere and maybe it's yours. That's not just some sort of like fantasy out there. There are ways that you can search your name and find if maybe there's money in a bank account, money in property, money somewhere that could be connected to you. And we're going to talk today about how you go about doing that. Our guest is Rochelle Treister. She is the founder of Charity Windfall Canada. And how she came onto my radar screen is she emailed me with a bank account that could well be mine. Rochelle joins us from Tel Aviv right now. And thank you for making the time. Hello.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, what? You Googled my name and found a bank account of when I used to live in New York City?
Bruce, I Google everything. If I go to the theater, I take a picture of the donor wall and I Google all the names.
So you Googled my name and you found an account, and now the responsibility's on me. Before we get into what I need to do and how I do that, paint a picture here. How common is this? Is this, a diamond in the rough, or is it, more probable that this is worth a check for more people to be doing?
It's much better than doing a lottery.
Mm.
Your chances of winning are one in between 4 and 7. One
Wow.
in 1 in 4 to 7 people, depending on where, will have money. And sometimes they'll have a lot of money. In fact, I looked up on the National Association of Unclaimed Property facilitators, administrators, whatever they are. The average is $2,080 per claim. It's a
Amazing.
lot
Now,
of money.
you have a very interesting story as to how you came to be someone who is focused on this. Tell us about that.
Well, I have a friend who was fundraising for cancer, and he sent a letter, an email to a bunch of his friends, and I knew all of the friends on that email, or most of them. And I thought, wow, this was shortly after I had discovered unclaimed property. I thought, if I find money for them and convince them to donate it, because it's not coming out of their bank account, it's money they didn't even realize they had. They won't miss it.
Hmm.
Then maybe he'll raise a lot of money for cancer research. So that's what I did, and it grew out of that.
When you
Yeah.
say unclaimed property, we've talked about bank accounts. What are some of the other examples of things it could be?
Oh my. There's about 40 different things. It can be gift certificates. It can be dividends or stocks that have been, it could be anything that comes in the mail, but the mail didn't get to you. So most of the time it's because people have moved or companies have moved and the mail just never got to you.
Wow.
It can be life insurance policies. It goes on and on and on. Lots of
Okay.
things.
What is your number one source? Some of our listeners are like grabbing a pen and paper and they're desperate to know, where do they search? What are the databases that you're searching?
I found 300 of them. So the amount of money out there is astounding. About $100 billion in North America. Um, so for Canadians, the Bank of Canada, just look up unclaimed property, Bank of Canada, and if you want to look in the United States, which I heartily recommend you do, go to missingmoney.com. It is, although it doesn't have a .gov ending, a government site, it is endorsed by all the unclaimed property administrators, so it's safe.
So you found the name of an institution that I know. So I don't know it's not crazy because I did bank with that institution when I lived in the US. What is my
Right.
next step? So when I find my name there, what do I have to do?
Well, first of all, you have to go to the state that's holding your money, or it doesn't necessarily have to be a state, but in your case, it is.
Yeah,
And you go to that state. I think was it New York State?
it was.
Okay. And you go to New York State unclaimed property, you find your claim, and there will be a button there somewhere that says claim. and you hit that button and fill out the form that comes up, and that's about it. It's really simple. And
And then they're
finding
going to
your
send
money
me a
is even
check.
simpler, and they'll send you a check.
And did you say Canada's even simpler?
No, they're all simple. They're really quite simple. It's usually a one-page form. You just have to convince them that you're who you say you are and you have a connection to that money. So,
Wow.
you'll send them an ID or some kind, not the actual ID, but it's
Yeah.
safe. That's what I
Yeah.
want to emphasize.
Now you said the average is somewhere around 2 grand. What is the biggest amount you personally have ever seen?
$235,000.
And please tell me the person who got that money donated at least half of it to cancer.
I was
No?
not able to contact them, but they eventually did find the money, not through me.
Right.
It was very, very old money, and it belonged to a corporation that had been sold many times. And, there's just so much money flying around out there.
Wow. Well, the money is sitting there. If is it in a savings account somewhere, or is it growing? Is compound interest making it
I
making
wish,
it's
I
not?
wish. No, and that's a good reason to claim it as soon as you can because inflation, makes the money worth less as time goes on.
What about stock certificates? Is there a way to search that? Like, is there a chance that someone left me probably about 1,000 shares of Apple bought for $10 per share? So maybe they're like, with all the stock splits, maybe there's 10,000 shares of Apple with my name on it. What do you think?
Well, I have to tell you that usually once it comes to unclaimed property, um, they will sell the stock within a year of receiving it. So it may not have grown as much as you think. They don't hold on to it. But you can,
What?
it's all in unclaimed property. It's in those
Wow.
databases. Yeah.
Now, that seems like a terribly inefficient part of our economy to have, what did you say, $100 billion sitting there doing nothing for anybody. What are some of the root causes of that, and who might address those root causes?
Well, it's not doing nothing for anybody.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the states that hold that money, they say they want to give it back and they make a big production and PR, but really they balance their state budgets with that money. They don't use the money, but it's part of their calculations.
Oh,
So, and they get all the interest.
right.
So, they're not too eager to give it back, although they pretend they are. So.
Right. Thank you for your honesty about the world as it is versus how we would like it to be. How long do you think it would take for the average person to search those multiple databases that you're talking about? Is this an investment of uh,
About 2.5 minutes.
2.5 minutes with, you say, a 1 in 7
But
chance that there could be some money there awaiting?
but they will get addicted as I did. Because the minute you
Did you
start
find
looking,
unclaimed property for yourself?
no, but I did
No.
for my family
Okay.
and for friends. And I'll tell you, it's so much fun because I taught the people in my congregation. I had a little workshop and I said, come on, bring your phones, bring your laptops, and I'll show you how to do this. Within 5 minutes of me showing them how to do it, they were pulling out their old address books and calling friends from camp they hadn't spoken to and calling, all over the world. It was such fun. And, you know, it is
You're a
fun.
total inspiration to me, Rochelle. Really, you are. And I think I'm going to declare this here in our conversation. When I find and when I bring home the money that you have pointed me to go get, I will contribute, no matter the amount, I will contribute 50% of it to a charity of my choice. But I
That's
think
what I
that's a great
asked.
call to action for you. It's called Charity Windfall, I'm sure, for a reason. Is that fair to say?
Exactly why I do it. It lets me be a philanthropist without spending my own money.
Genius. Rochelle, thank you so much for making the time to talk to us today.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you and much
Rochelle
success.
Treister, Rochelle Treister is the founder of Charity Windfall Canada, and she is a huge advocate for you, me, all of us going out and finding money that is ours. Oh, and bonus points to donating at least 50% of it to charity.